Hey, it's Evie, welcome to my channel. Today's video is all about assumption, acting as if in order to bring your specific person into your life. How do you do that? Do you have to do it, as Neville Goddard stated, persistent assumption? So you wake up, you feel like you have it, you go to bed, you feel like you have it, so you're constantly feeling like you have that person in your life just the way you want them. Do you have to do that? No, not really, not really. I'll just break it down for you and tell you the best way to do this without putting too much stress on yourself. In essence, what you are trying to do here is just to get the feeling of having that person in your life exactly how you want it. So you find that feeling within yourself and you get that feeling now and again. That's really all that you need to do. I'm not saying that, the thing is, if you are attached and you're doing that, it's still going to take longer, because until you can release that attachment, that's what's going to hold you back. If you don't have much attachment, then the thing is, when you start feeling like this and doing this regularly, then you do naturally release some attachment. So, it has that kind of effect. It really does help you release attachment. So it is key to be persistent and consistent, but at the same time, if it starts stressing you out and you'll start feeling like I'm lying to myself and feeling stressed about it, then that's when you need to stop doing it. And if you try to get up in the morning and feel like this all day, the chances are you're not going to be able to do it. The thing is, if you could, say you were like Neville Goddard and you could do that, you could just assume all of the time that you were in that relationship, it would happen pretty quick. It really would, if you could do it for days on end. But I don't think the majority of us could do that. I couldn't do it, and I'm pretty good at this stuff. I mean, I have my moments, but I couldn't do that. So I have found that when I've wanted to manifest something, all I've really needed to do is to get the feeling of having it for a short amount of time. I mean, sometimes I just haven't even done it for that long at all, and I might have done it a few days on the trot, I might have missed a few days and then done it, and that thing has come to me in a few weeks. I've said before, I think the longest I seem to go now is about 2 months before I manifest what I want. But I do find that getting that specific thing in your head, so getting the feeling of it specifically, if you really want it in a certain way, try to hone in on having it in that way. So this is where I suggest, say you want a relationship with your specific person, you want to get back with your ex, don't try too hard just to manifest texts and phone calls and that kind of thing, because the thing is, that might not lead anywhere, and so you'll get that. So you eventually get that text, it might not be anything much, and then you think, oh, I've manifested it, okay, and then you get into that obsessive behaviour of trying to manifest another one and another one and another one, and then you just get hooked on manifesting texts and phone calls which are never completely what you want, probably won't say the things that you want them to say, or if they do, then they'll disappear, and because you're just getting hooked on the manifesting of that one thing, and really what you want is a relationship. So you're far better trying to get the feeling of having the relationship, and then the texts and the phone calls, they come naturally, and you don't then need to try and force those. The thing is with this stuff, as soon as you start trying to force it, it doesn't work, it causes resistance. So you don't need to get yourself in a state about thinking, oh, but I can't assume, it's impossible, and get yourself in a state about having, doing that the way Neville did it. And I have a lot of emails from people sort of responding to another video that I've done, saying that you don't need to do this for very long, and saying, but Neville said that it has to be persistent, it has to be consistent, and you have to constantly live in that moment. And I have found, so I can only go from my own experience, that isn't the case. You just need to get that feeling for a short amount of time. And I have manifested stuff when I've had that feeling for maybe a minute or so, a couple of times in 1 week, and then I've manifested it a little while later. Oftentimes it's when I haven't particularly been trying to manifest it. I've kind of thought that'd be nice, and I thought about it. So I wanted to hear from somebody, and it's a guy that I have regular appointments with, and at the moment he hasn't been able to take appointments, and I was talking to somebody about him yesterday and saying that I wanted an appointment. And then after I'd got off that Skype call with the particular person I was talking to, I just got the feeling of having contact from him, just to know where I was with it and when I could go back and see him. So I got that feeling, and this morning I had a message from him, had an email from him this morning saying, did I want to come over and have an appointment at his house rather than at the place that he usually works. brilliant, sorted. And I'd completely forgotten about it because I wasn't desperate. I just thought it'd be nice to hear from him and know where I was with those appointments and when I could start going back. So, you know, it really is as easy as that if you don't have attachment. And of course, we do have attachment to people because people are very difficult to let go of, especially if you feel that you've got this connection with that person, this amazing connection, if it's an ex, and you cannot imagine having that connection with anybody else, and you think it's the love of your life and how can you possibly move on with somebody else, then it's difficult, isn't it, to let go of that attachment. But if you are persistent with this, and I agree with Neville on everything, but you know, I find it absolutely impossible to assume day in, day out that I have something. I can't do that, and I have just found my way, and my way shows me that I don't need to do that, because I do believe that we all have our own way. So if my way works this way for me, it's because we all have our own way and we can all make it work in whichever way suits us. That's what I have found. And I have found that I don't need to hold on to that feeling for all that for long. If I find it easy to do, then I will hold on to it for a bit longer. If it's something I'm not quite so attached to, what I do is I keep going back to the feeling. So if I think about that particular thing, I keep getting that feeling. If the thing that I want floats into my mind, it's there, I then get the feeling of having it. So whatever feeling I'm having about it at that time, say it's a bit doubtful, then I'll switch it to feeling as if I have it. And that is the way that it's worked for me, and it works every single time. Sometimes like that, with that appointment, that the message that I wanted, it came the next day. Sometimes it might come a week later, sometimes it might come 2 weeks later. And I don't get hung up on time anymore, which I used to do. I used to think, well, if it hasn't come now, you know, it's not going to come. If it was like a couple of weeks after, and I felt like I didn't have any attachment, but I don't do that now. I just think, it will come. I know it will come. I'll still doubt it now and again, but it will come, because it always does. It has to. Once you've had that feeling of having it, it has to come, and the only thing stopping it is your attachment. So if you can release some of that, and like I say, you will gradually, sorry, the door keeps banging, it's quite windy out there today. This conservatory is making all kinds of noises today, I do apologise. And there's a fly in here too, which is really annoying. Sorry, I'm digressing. I'm not very focused today, I do apologise, but I really wanted to get this video out there for you. So, getting the feeling, but not stressing about having the feeling for too long, and not keep trying and trying and trying. And then, because the thing is, you might do it and feel really, really good, and then think, oh, I'm going to hold on to it, and hold on to it. And then a few days down the track, you think, well, I had that really good feeling, and surely it should have happened by now. And then that's when the resistance kicks in, because we have to try and let go of the issue of time, because I don't understand time. I don't understand the way it works, and why some things will manifest the very next day and some things immediately. If I've had a brief thought about something and it manifests like in a few seconds later, and why some things take longer, and I don't know. And if you try to explain that to yourself, you will get tied up in knots, and you will start thinking, well, I can get this because it's not so big to the universe, but I can't get this, and that's not the case. Everything is the same. Everything is the same. You know, you're just choosing to experience something. So when you get the feeling of having that thing, I'm sorry if I'm speaking really fast today. I seem to be sorry if I'm talking fast. I know some of you say that I talk a little bit too fast. I try to slow it down, but I find it really difficult. Just naturally talk fast and a lot. So when you get that feeling and you focus on that feeling and give momentum to that feeling, even if you just do it for a minute or so, what you are doing is then selecting that reality. So you are telling reality, universe, God, whatever you think it is, that this is what you want. So it's out there then, it's waiting for you. It's waiting for you to release so that it can come to you. It really is as simple as that, and I found that to be the case. And like I said, I've been doing this for 4 years. The first year was the toughest, and I think I made it hard work in the first 6 months. Then I started to get a bit better, and then I just started to experiment and think and try things out and see what worked, see what didn't work, and then I started having real fun with it. So I know that this works every single time. If you did nothing else, this is the only thing that you need to do, really. Other techniques are fun, but this is the only thing that you need to do, because it all comes down to the feeling. You can call it the power of assumption, assuming something, but you're not kind of really, are you? Because your head is not really in that space. So all you need to do is think, I am going to feel how it would feel like if I had it. And I'm going to try and do that for about 2 minutes. Do that, get the feeling, and if it feels good, amazing, let it go. Do it again, maybe a few hours later, do it again the next day, and the next day, but not if it makes you feel bad. Every single time you do this, you have to be in a good place, you have to be feeling good, and you have to forget about the issue of time. You say to yourself, when I am totally right inside, this is when this will come, and it will be the best possible time because it will come to me and I will be able to handle it. So this is what I say, don't keep trying to manifest texts and phone calls. Do it for fun, by all means, do it for fun. But if you're really desperate to be with somebody, don't keep trying to do that. Because yes, you might get that text, but it could be something really random, or it could be something not even very nice, or it could be, oh, I left my coat at your house. Do you know, can you get it back to me in some way? It could be anything if you just focus on a text. So what you really want to do is focus on that relationship and how you want that relationship to be. Then you start feeling as if you have it on and off. Then you start releasing attachment naturally. Then you get a text, then you get a phone call, but it will be what you want it to be. It will be just the way you want it to be. And when you get that text or phone call, don't then stress that you have to control the whole conversation. That's not going to be good for you. You need to then let it go, let it come naturally, and everything then will unfold, and it will unfold in a great way, and maybe even better than you had imagined. Let it happen. Don't try and grab or hold of it then and make it and then think, oh, I'm going to feel how this message would feel if they said this to me and they said that to me, because you will tie yourself up in knots. Then you'll get a message that doesn't quite coincide with what you felt, and then you'll think it isn't working, and then you'll build up resistance. So this is all about flow and letting it happen, I have found. So to sum up, feel it, let it go. Feel it, let it go. Don't get obsessive about it, and so you feel good, you think, I want that again, because then you'll keep trying and then you won't feel that. Then you'll start to feel doubt at one particular time when you do it, and then you'll start to get stressed, and then you'll start to feel resistance, really. I mean, this stuff is easy, but we make it so difficult because there's so much out there that you can listen to and read, and so you keep trying all of these different things, and really this is all that you need to do. It really is. I mean, sometimes, like I say, it happens overnight for me. Sometimes it will take a little bit longer. I have gone 2 months before I manifested something that I was only doing for fun, and I really got a really good feeling about it, and it was really fun doing it. And it, I'd completely forgotten about it when it happened because it was 2 months later. I was just doing it for fun, and it happened exactly as it was a Facebook post that I wanted somebody to make. It was a challenge that I wanted somebody to say something about me on Facebook, and they did exactly. It was pretty much word for word that I'd imagined, but I'd completely forgotten about it, had no attachment to it, was only doing it for fun. 2 months later. So this, and I don't get that. Why was that 2 months later? Why did it not happen the next day? No idea. So this is what you want to get out of that worrying about time, because you can't explain it, and you'll never really go into understand it, because time is not as we see it, really. It's not as we think it is. It's probably not linear. I don't really get that. I think it's a bizarre thing to think that, the theory is, isn't it, that time isn't linear and everything's happening all at the same time and every possibility is happening, and you choose that one, so everything else falls away, and all that's very difficult to get your head around that, and you will feel like your head is going to explode if you try to. So I've said before, when I was younger, I just wanted everything explained, and I used to think about the universe all of the time, and how did it come to be, and was the Big Bang real, and if the Big Bang was real, what was there before? Because of course there must be something there before for that to happen. And I would tie myself up in knots and thinking about infinity and all of that, infinity and beyond. I was really, because I've always been into this stuff. So, but now I just let it happen, and I call it magic, because to me it is magic, because crazy things have happened and crazy things continue to happen. So to me, it's full on magic, and I love it. So my members area is live. It's brilliant. I have a few of you signing up every single day, which is great. And I am intending to get a forum on there for you guys at some point, maybe in the next couple of months, so you can all talk to each other, and I can dip in and out as well. That'd be really great. And I'm having lots of communication from you guys now when you're getting to certain modules and you're asking me questions, which is brilliant. That's what it's all about. I want that communication, so don't feel bad about using the Ask Evie section, because that's part of it. One thing I wanted to make clear, I've had a few people say to me, oh, I've signed up, but it's only £5 a month. Are you going to suddenly hike the price up because it seems too cheap? Yes, I get it. It does seem too cheap, and it's all in perception, isn't it? And when I'm charging in business, I don't mind about charging a lot of money for my social media courses, my SEO courses and all that. I don't mind that, because I know that people are getting great value for that, and they're going off with that information and they're using it in their business. But it's the same here. I know that you're getting great value from it. Because I'm helping you, I find it difficult to charge a lot of money for that, and I always have. So I wanted to come up with a way that I could charge you just a small amount of money, and it's on numbers. So if I get enough of you doing it, which I am now, then I'm making a reasonable amount of money, and that's brilliant for both of us, isn't it? That's the way that I see it. And no, I will not be hiking the price up. If you have come on board at £5 a month, you will always pay £5 a month. I will never put that up. Unless something happens that I have to, but I can't imagine that would ever happen, and I would give you plenty of notice if that was going to happen, but it's not going to happen. That's not to say in future, say 6 months down the line, a year down the line, that I don't start charging new people slightly more, but it wouldn't be much more. And that may just be that I find that it's become, not cost effective. I don't know. I can't imagine that would happen. But if you're paying £5 a month, whatever you sign up to pay is what you'll be paying. And as far as I know, unless anything major happens where the world changes and I have to pay loads more money for my server every month, that's just not, I don't imagine that's going to happen. So that's why the price is low, and I hope that you guys that are on board with it seem to be getting real value from it, which is brilliant. That's what it's all about. So I can offer some coaching to many more people, because obviously you don't all email me at the same time, so I can manage that, and that's why. So I hope that explains that. My next book, Degrees of Attachment, should be out in 2 weeks, and my book, Get Back With Your Ex, is out now on Amazon. And lots of you have asked me, because some of you don't like to use Amazon, and that's fair enough, have asked me whether I can do it on a PDF download, and I'm looking at doing that. It's not me that does it, you see. I have all these ideas, and I've got to put it to somebody else to do it for me. So I have to wait for that to come on board, but that shouldn't be too long. I should be able to do that for you. It'll still be the same price, but you'll just get it in a PDF, and you can just read it on your computer. I imagine it would be quite difficult, quite tricky to read on your mobile, and I don't know how that would work. And I am looking at also getting it available on an EPUB so that you can download it to your phone, but I don't quite know how that's going to work. I can create EPUB documents, not a problem, but I don't know how that will work on my website. I'm not sure, but I am looking at that for you, doing the best that I can, because it's not my books now on Amazon. I'm making sure that I don't make them exclusive to Amazon, because I want to give you guys other options, and I might get it on Google Books and all of that. Sorry, I'm waffling. Anyway, that is the end of this. I hope it was useful. Like I said, I'm not completely focused today. I've had a aura migraine this morning. Only lasted about 20 minutes, but I find it really difficult to focus afterwards. But I really wanted to get this video out, so hope it was useful.